Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with some Hazbin Hotel related songs, and I guess one animatic as well. These were all suggested by Sweetven. We have Heaven to Hell by Black Griffin, Basic, and Elsie Lovelock, the latter of which I think is the original voice of Charlie from the pilot. We have Charlie's Curse. This one is by Icy Twain. That's an animatic. We have Valentino by Love's Art 23, which is, according to this, a cover of a cover. Because originally, I guess the song is by Years and Years and MNEK. And there was a cover by Paranoid DJ. So, interesting. We have Insane by Black Griffin and Basic. And we have Alastor's Game by The Living Tombstone. So, yeah, 5 different songs and AMVs here. And a set that I'm not sure what I'm going to think of. Because it seems like a good number of them seem to focus on Alastor. And if I'm being honest, Alastor's probably my least favorite character from the pilot. Like, originally, I liked him a lot more. But nowadays, more recently, after having rewatched him many times and everything, and interacted with the fandom and stuff, Alastor, honestly, he's probably my least favorite character. Outside of maybe Katie Killjoy. For obvious reasons. And I'm only obviously counting characters that appear, not like Lucifer, who isn't actually a character yet. He just, was mentioned very briefly once. That doesn't count. But yeah, it's like when you have the likes of Vaggie and Charlie and Cherry Bomb, Angel Dust, Serpentius. It's like even Nifty and Husker to a degree. It's like they're all just more interesting and more entertaining and likable. Alastor is Alastor comes across as one of those kind of gimmicky characters that is put there to be popular, but ends up just kind of getting really old really fast and kind of grating on you the more you watch of him and more you listen to him. And that might change with the series proper when it starts this summer. I might end up liking him again, but it's just like as of now, it's just I'm really not a fan. His song is my least favorite in the pilot. And I'm not a fan. I kind of lost that. But yeah. So, I'm still interested to see what these are like. Especially the one with, Elsie Lovelock. Because again, I believe she's the original voice of Charlie from the pilot. Or at least the singing voice. I don't know if Charlie had the same singing and speaking voice, because I know a couple characters didn't like Alastor specifically. And Alastor his singing voice is Black Griffin, so that's going to be very authentic there. I'm just gonna give it a chance. I don't know if any of these will beat out like the one fan song that I really know, which is Addict by Silverhound and Chi-Chi, with Michael in it as well, the voice of Angel Dust in the pilot. Yeah, Addict is like the only fan song I know, and mostly because Vivzy actually liked it so much that she made a canon music video for it on the channel. But yeah, it's like it's really good. And mind you, it also is Angel Dust focused, and Angel is my favorite of the Hazbin Hotel characters. So yeah. But obviously, I'm wearing my Hazbin shirt for today. Um, so I'm ready to get into this. Obviously, this will still be redirected just to be safe because I'm afraid of having another channel taken down. But yeah, so let's just get on with it. Hope for the best. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers. I feel like I was rushing through that, and now I worded something wrong. Everything from that point on will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the video's animatics. Okay, there we go. But that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. I think one of my main issues with all of these, in terms of the songs, was the fact that maybe it's just because I'm, at this point, used to the characters and used to seeing the pilot and seeing, Hell of a Boss as well. But it's like, I think one of my biggest issues with these was the fact that none of the songs sound like they belong to this world. What I mean is none of them fit in terms of style, sound, and tone with the series. They just don't feel like Hazbin Hotel, Hell of a Boss type songs at all. Like, even the ones that are trying to mimic the kind of like radio style of Alastor, it's like it's not the same kind of style as his song from Hazbin Hotel. Just by trying to make it radio-like doesn't make it work. I know that might sound harsh, and I'm not trying to like hate on these artists, because the songs are good for what they are. They don't sound like Hazbin Hotel songs to me. If you switched out like all mentions of any characters and whatnot, this would honestly just be its own thing, really. Like, none of the songs really feel like they fit. But let's go through them. So, Heaven to Hell, I guess, is like an advertisement kind of deal. We have Alastor and Charlie advertising the hotel together. They disagree on things, on how to do it, but they're working together. My main issue with this is it doesn't seem to get Alastor right, which is weird because the artist here, Black Griffin, is the singing voice of Alastor in the pilot. But it's like, and it's not the voice so much as it is the personality and character. Like, it's kind of encapsulated in this one idea that's in the lyrics, him saying that they both want this hotel to succeed, and that's not true. That's not Alastor's goal in all of this. That was made very clear in the pilot. He doesn't care about this succeeding, and in fact, he doesn't believe it can. He has no faith that this will work. He's doing this simply for entertainment. He's doing this simply because he thinks it'll be fun to watch them fail. He has no faith that this will succeed. He doesn't believe that at all. He's not trying to make it succeed. And it's just, I don't know, it just feels weird. It's like that, it feels like the entire song and his entire perspective is kind of based on that, like he's trying to actually help. But he's not actually trying to help. That's the point. That's made very fucking clear. Charlie only accepts his help in the pilot because she's naive and doesn't understand that that's not gonna work, you know? That he's tricking her. Like, she understands he's sketchy as fuck, but it just feels like it just doesn't, like, get the character right. And for a character I don't even like that much, it makes it a little more annoying, I guess is the best word. Then we have the second one, Charlie's Curse, Animatic by AC Twain. This song probably sounded the least like a Hazbin Hotel song. It just was weird. Like, this is also my least favorite of the songs in this. Honestly, I just don't feel like the song and the visuals match that well. Like, they tried to have, like, the darling part, like, while showing, like, Charlie and Vaggie together and everything, but it's just, like, it just didn't work. The animatic itself, the visuals were fine, and they looked great, even. Great art and animation there. And the song itself is not necessarily bad, it's just they don't mesh for me. That's my main issue with that one. After that, we have Valentino by Love's Art 23. And this is one of my... This one kind of encapsulates one of my issues with a lot of the fandom. A lot of the fandom loves to go a little too far in giving personality to characters who just had nothing in the pilots so far and everything, who aren't really characters yet. And they get aggressive if you don't agree that that's what their personality or character would be like. They will attack you, berate you, or sometimes even worse. Because fandoms, in general, suck. And it's the same kind of thing for shipping. Like, there's a lot of, like, shipping issues in the Hazbin Hotel community, which is just ridiculous. And I have my own things to say on that, but I'm not going to get into that here. I'm not going to get into that here. But, in general, like, I liked the visuals, and again, the song... I kind of said this originally, sounded like a real song. So I'm wondering if, like, this, like, it says, I talked about this at the beginning. It says in this, the original cover of Valentino by Years and Years and MNK was done by Paranoid DJ. So maybe the original version of this was just an actual song. The Years and Years and MNEK one. Maybe that's just an actual song, because it sounds like an actual song. Not a Hazbin Hotel song, not a fan song at all. And there is a difference. If you listen to fan songs, they don't sound like commercial songs. Let's put it that way. Actual songs is a terrible thing to say. I apologize for that. But they don't sound like commercial, like radio songs that you hear, like, in pop culture and in the world and whatnot. They sound like fan songs. There is a different sound to them. There just is. They sound notably different. Just in the same way that, like, show tunes and metal sound different. They're in almost I wouldn't say a different genre, because there's still genres within fan songs. I don't know how to describe it. If you understand what I mean, I hope you understand what I mean. But yeah, that wasn't even an issue with this. That was just something I noted. So I'm not saying that as a bad thing. My issue with this one is the Vox thing. Is the fact that they seem to give Vox this, like, character and personality and also story that he doesn't have. Vox doesn't have a character yet at all. We know nothing about him. And it's just like, I don't necessarily hate the idea, but also it just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Because Vox and Valentino seem to be on kind of the same level to me, based on what we saw in the pilot and everything. Like, in terms of, like, Lords of Hell and everything, they seem to be kind of on the same level. Vox is not on the same level as Angel. No, not by any means. Vox would come across more like a business rival to Valentino than anything. Maybe working together here and there, but like even maybe on friendly terms. Because I think at one point it shows Valentino, him, and the one girl, I can't remember her name, with the pigtails. I believe it shows all three of them in the same room together at one point during the pilot. But it's like, I don't see them as friends at all. I see them all as, like, kind of rivals. Like, they're not, like, together or anything like that. Does that make sense? And I definitely never got any kind of vibe that Vox was going through the same thing as Angel. In fact, I would never even consider that. And the idea of, like, shipping them at the end also feels really weird. Like, here's the thing, and I want to make this clear for all of this. I'm just sharing my opinions here. If you like to ship random characters, like, that have, at least so far, no interaction and no anything, basically crack shipping, go for it. If you like to give personality to characters that don't really have much, or like to do whatever in terms of fandom stuff like that, go for it. I'm not trying to tell you not to do that. It's just, it's a personal thing for me that it's just, it bothers me. It's completely personal. It's completely on me. I own that. But it is something that bothers me. And I think it comes down to just personally, I don't like veering that far away from the canon. It's entirely a personal thing, which is why I don't like. I said I wasn't going to get into it, but I'm going to just mention it briefly here. It's why I don't like ships like Charlister. In fact, I hate that ship for a lot of reasons. But it's like, Charlie canonically has a girlfriend. She and Vaggie are canonically together. This is how it is. So my mind can't comprehend the idea of shipping either of them with anyone else. And then I see, like, sometimes people like to ship or draw art of Vaggie with a guy, and that bothers the hell out of me because Vaggie's a lesbian and she would not be into guys. In fact, it basically says in the pilot that she hates men just naturally. So it's like... And then on top of that, the Chalister ship as well is just extremely toxic as fuck. It's like shipping... This one's gonna get me flack. It's like shipping Chloe and Max in Life is Strange. It's like, it's a toxic, dangerous ship that just is not good for anyone involved. Just saying. I know that one's gonna give me some flack for sure. But yeah, it's like, my mind just doesn't like veering too far away from canon stuff like that. Also, Alastor is Ace Arrow, so shipping him with anyone also just bothers the shit out of me. And I know a lot of people ship him with Angel as well, which is really fucking weird. And I think that's based entirely on the entire "I can suck your dick" line. And it's like, that is not enough to ship someone by. It's not. But yeah, it's like, again, the video, the visuals were great. The song was great. There was a lot I couldn't get into with this one, though. And a lot that it made me think of that gave me some... It made me remember some very negative things about the fandom that I really didn't want to think about. If I'm being completely honest here. Then we had Insane by Black Griffin and Basic. Insane was another one that really just did not sound like a Hazbin Hotel song, but I could say that pretty much about all of these. Um, Insane was kind of boring, if I'm being honest. And that's wild because this is apparently one of the more popular ones, but it didn't feel like it had a lot to it. It felt like a very bland, boring song with not a lot put into it. And I know that's not the case. I'm not saying that Gabe and Nate didn't put effort and work into this. They very much did. Um, but I'm just saying like how it felt to me, just a personal feeling, and it bored me. If I'm being honest, I don't really even have anything else to say about it. The last one was Alastor's Game by The Living Tombstone. This one had an interesting visual style with like the kind of like shadow puppet show, while Alastor's trying to, lure in his victims and everything, and then it kind of cuts to the harsher, more intense, creepy design and everything with the harsher vocals and everything. This one was actually the most interesting in terms of the song. Um, and having the harsher vocals cut in just for short times, but then at the end it like cuts in for a longer period of time. I kind of like that. The actual content of the song is just eh. And the sound of the song in general is just, it's like if you've heard a Living Tombstone song before, you've basically heard this song. He has a very specific style that it's like they all are different, but also kind of sound the same, if that makes any sense. Like they have a very, very distinct sound to them. I don't know how to put it. Um, but it also, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, it was interesting in terms of its visual representation and the way the song switched up its style partway through with the, change to the harsher vocals and all. And I very much appreciate that. But if I were to like rank it with Living Tombstone songs, it would not be on a top 10. It's not one of his better songs by any means. It's again, it's very basic with the lyrics and whatnot. It's just it's as simplistic really as it comes. I kind of wish like it changed things up a little more. Maybe that's just me, but yeah. Also, again, I will be fully honest and open. My dislike for Alastor might also have an effect on this. Because I think most of these songs were Alastor. We had Heaven to Hell. We had Insane. And we had Alastor's Game. 3 of the 5 songs here were Alastor based. Charlie's Curse was about Charlie and Vaggie. And Valentino was Angel and Vox with, Valentino like lording over them. But 3 of these 5 songs centered on my least favorite character in the pilot. So it's like, it's kind of, it's kind of not like unbiased here. It's actually very biased, for me. But I gave them all a chance, and it's like again, the songs were not bad. The songs were not bad. The visuals, for the most part, weren't bad. The visuals for the Heaven to Hell one were just like, oh, vaguely moving puppets around a slightly changing background. It didn't really change at all. But the visuals for most of these weren't bad or anything. The songs weren't bad. It's just, none of them really did it for me. None of them were really what I would have wanted. Like, when I think of a Hazbin Hotel fan song, I would want it to be like Addict. I would want it to sound like it comes right out of the show. I would want it to sound like you could believe it's a real song that Vivzie and her team made, rather than a fan song. Again, real song is the wrong word. I apologize for that, but you know what I mean. Like an actual song from the show. And that's the only fan song I've now heard that sounds like that. Silverhound, Michael Kovac, Chi-Chi, they knocked it out of the park with the Addict. It sounded like an actual Hazbin Hotel song, and I think that's why I like it as much as I do. Hell, I like it more than some of the other songs from the show. But it's like, I just wish more of these fan songs were like that. And that's just my opinion. And again, I'm not trying to hate on these musicians and their songs or the visuals made by like whatever artists and whatnot made these visuals. Nothing about. I'm not trying to insult that. That's not as much the issue. It's just personal thoughts. I couldn't get into these. They weren't my thing. And that's fine. Not everything's going to be. It's like that's how things work. But we do have an episode of Hell of a Boss coming this weekend, so there will be a video on that. My typical episodic review video. And I've been asked this, I believe, in the Discord, so I'm just going to mention it here as well. If you are wondering, yes, I will be doing reactions to Hazbin Hotel once it comes out this summer. That won't be episodic reviews like Hell of a Boss. That will be reactions. I only was doing the episodic reviews for Hell of a Boss because I wasn't sure I was going to like it because I didn't like the pilot. And so I just decided, instead of like trying to stick to doing reactions, I would just do a review and kind of go from there. And I just decided to keep with that as a little idea. And even when season 2 came along, it's like, I'm just going to stick with that. Watch it on my own time and all. Ugh, excuse me. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Jeez. Don't you hate when that happens, when it feels like you're about to sneeze and then you never do because you've noticed it? Ugh. But yeah. I would love to hear your thoughts either way down in the comments below. So let me know your thoughts on these songs and these animatics and whatnot. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.